Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Samantha here and Nico, and we
Yep.
are going to have a little conversation about how to effectively manifest and bring in your new year intention with body awareness, emotional awareness, and visualization exercises. So let's get started with a just gentle meditation. So closing your eyes and finding your awareness of your sitting bones and your feet on the earth. Feeling that rooting, that stability, that groundedness in your body temple. And you can place one hand on your heart and one hand just below your belly. And starting to become aware of your natural breath, the rise of your chest as you inhale. As you exhale, really deepening into your sit bones. And then also feeling the expansion of the inner breath. You may feel a little bit taller as you take that big inhale. And as you exhale, really feeling that relief, that groundedness, that support. And with the exhale, you can also let go. You can imagine that there are root channels growing from the base of your spine down into the earth. And then anything from the last year you want to let go of, they can go through these root channels back to the earth. As you inhale to the spaciousness, inhale into the expansion of your dreams. Now in your mind, think about something you would love to achieve. Seeing the picture, the environment, the people. What does it look like of your intention, of what you want in your future? And then coming down to your heart, how does it make you feel? What is the sensation of joy? Is there a color? How does it make you feel in your heart? And then rolling that down into your gut instincts and noticing, are there any sensations in your body when you think and you feel and you sense that future vision of yourself? Allowing whatever sensation, feeling, thoughts to arrive, and knowing that it can be true. And then starting to come back into your space. So moving your feet, wiggling your toes and your fingers, opening your eyes gently to the screen. And And I'll introduce myself. I am Samantha. I'm an embodiment coach. I also have been studying Tantra and yoga and a lot of different modalities around connecting the soma, the body, to the spirit and to the mind. And I'm really excited to have a conversation around how to clear the space in order to live our most abundant dreams with you.
Mhm.
So then I
Thank
will
you.
pass it on to Nico. Thank you for having this conversation with me.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it was a beautiful meditation. Just pardon, I just have a cat there in heat, so it's pardon the noises. But I really like the what you said had like how we can clear things so that we can invite more things for yourself. And what I've noticed that is like it can be as literal as going into the closet and just look at something like, hey, like, is this exciting? Is it give me more energy? Is it something that like a word and it feels amazing or not, right? And if it doesn't, if it's like has the energy like, oh, well, maybe I'll wear it someday to go to like take a hike or something. It's like, well, no, then just throw it away because it's no longer like giving you that energy, that excitement. And then
Mhm.
if we allow ourselves to do that and just being honest, and it's like, you know what, this is no longer like feels as pleasant. It's no longer feel as exciting to me. And it's important just either throw it away or just give it to somebody else who maybe enjoy that, right? And and that could really have a really positive effect on health. That's one of the things that I learned. Also, yes, you can do all this meditation and all these practices, but another thing you can also do is check all the emails and delete all the emails from the old year or previous years, or this, if you know, like, I'm not never going to read those. And then if you delete them, then it would give so much clarity for the mind. It's almost identical to doing like anima or something, or like doing all the like clearing exercises, especially if you say, every time I remove this email, every time I remove this contact from my phone book that I'm never going to call, and I'm sending them energy back to them, and I'm taking my energy back to myself as I do that. And this way, you could even feel more insights, more energy flowing into you because you're reclaiming yourself, all aspects of yourself that you may have lost somewhere on your path. And that
Mhm.
is part of this, inviting the New Year's in. Back, I'm from Russia. Like my full name is Nikita. I go by Nico for different reasons. And I've been fascinated, and I had really similar story to where you have, where I would go through like being highly sensitive. And for me, it came to the point where it was so much pain and so much intensity that I almost dissociated myself. I thought, oh, you know what? I'm just going to turn off the pain off. But the thing is, what I did not know is that if you remove pain, you cannot, like, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel
Mhm.
pain, no pleasure, no joy, no happiness. I was like a zombie. And then I like traveled around the world, observing people how they live. And after coming to Canada, I started to say, hey, like I think I learned enough to start opening myself up again. I'm opening myself. I'm more willing to not just see things, but also feel into those things. Like, how does it feel like um, to try new things? Like, uh, and how does it feel to talk to the people or wear some like a new clothing or interact with somebody? And just really tuning in with yourself. And letting go of the rest. And that's really part of the this new energy. And very briefly, is that the whole age of Aquarius is that we're going from third dimension into fourth dimension. In my mind, in very simple terms, there's dimension of space, time, and matter. Those are three ways we measure our reality. An additional step is dimension of love. It's through the prism of our bodies, our essence, that we perceive the world, right? And so time, space, and matter still exist, but our view through what we look at how much love is in my drink, that drink, right? How much love is in that person or the objects that I use, and then how can I send more love into that space so that it would create more harmony within myself and all the things that surround me. And that
Mhm.
is, if anything, this is like one of the pretty powerful intentions that you can do for yourself and for everybody else. So yeah, like that's like what you think. What's some of your something that really works for you?
And I love that you talking about these different dimensions and attuning our attention and our intentions together.
Mhm,
So I realized in my journey that I like to think of it even as like radio stations as well, is that you're attuning yourself with your intention to a certain type of radio station or to a certain type of television show, which is your life. And I realized upon my journey that I was in a show that wasn't really satisfying myself anymore,
mhm,
and that was, for instance, just for example, and why I'm really
mhm,
interested in sacred intimacy was I was really in tune with a station that was, let's say, just very animal instincts. And I
mhm,
was attuning to people that were maybe in addictions, for instance.
mhm,
And I didn't realize that that's where I was attuned to. And the reason being that I was there was a bunch of subconscious things that I didn't clear out, i.e., the shadow work. Shadow
mhm,
work for our viewers is essentially a shadow is something that you're not aware of in your conscious reality, but our subconscious realms, so things that maybe we learned, things that maybe we experienced when we were
mhm,
children that we blocked out, it's still in our water body, it's still in our
mhm,
system, and that we're playing it out in our lives, but we are not conscious that we are actually also calling that same experience in.
exactly.
So I was attuned to a frequency of, let's say, a lot of like more primal sexuality. And I actually really wanted love and I really
Mhm,
wanted devotion. And then through the journey of realizing, of becoming more conscious of what was in my body, taking the space to do meditations, do breath work, really sitting with myself, also witnessing all the people in my life and whatnot. And then, like you said, clearing the space, as
mhm,
in all those embodied technologies, also with clearing my physical space, I
mhm,
actually came more into my heart frequency. And then I could actually tell when people wanted my energy or they wanted my friendship, or let's say a lover, a potential lover wanted to meet with me, I could tune into if they were coming from their heart or if they were just coming from a more animalistic desire. And
mhm,
so, why I mention that, that's my personal experience, is that when we realize that we are very much powerful creators and we can use these different technologies to change what we are attracting in our life, then things get really interesting.
mhm. Yeah, it's beautiful that you said that there's like it's I've been learning a lot about hypnosis uh, and there's like the whole idea of hypnotherapy and essentially in my life I've been manipulated by others without even realizing it. And then I recently learned by learning about hypnosis, well, to learn how to navigate my own mind and to see whether or not people if like to see whether or not these others may want to take advantage of my limited awareness. And
Mm.
back to what you said is that there are beliefs that we are aware of, but there's also beliefs that we are unaware of. The one that just running in the back of a background and we're not even aware of, and then things we just keep attracting certain people and like, oh, why is it happening? And then many what was do is like we do this, and then instead of saying, you know what, I appreciate, I see the lesson, I want to do next something better. Many of us say, you know what, I'm going to feel guilty and ashamed and be miserable about this. And then it's like, and that's the opposite effect, right? It's like if you feel right. So it's interesting, like if you have an awareness that our belief system works, it's in cycles, then it's easier to navigate through that shadow. It's like it's the shadow is like it's like you can't see it, but your awareness, like as you reveal it, you can see it. As you can see it, you can heal it, and then you can let it go. And then your
Mm.
love becomes the prism towards that shadow. It's like it's saying, okay, yes, I have those tendencies, I have those qualities that I'm not proud of, but I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with reacting or acting in a certain way. And it's okay. So my ancestry is coming out, and I want to send be for next time. I want to do it differently. Like, well, and then what I like to do is ask myself, well, if I behave this time this way, and I'm not happy with that, well, how would that similar scenario would look from a place of love, right? And just kind of shift the awareness into that
Mhm.
place. And if you even if you can't see the picture, at least like how would that feel? Like, what would you like to feel instead next time? And be okay whether or not it's going to be different next time, right? And only if there's that equanimity, it's going to be the way you prefer or the way that you don't prefer, then having that acceptance and and having that sense of like, oh, I'm learning from this experience and I'm grateful for this. Having that attitude can really change, introduce rapid change within the self.
Yes,
Um,
totally. It's like Carolyn Elliott is a woman that studied psychoanalysis. She's like one that came up with existential kink, and she talks a lot about shadow work and technologies of actually moving from your shadow into your abundance. And I like this like through line of what we're talking about is that, and what you just said is that when we actually become responsible of our whole life and say, not to, when I say this, I'm not shaming people for going through some terrible experiences that they had in childhood because that wasn't their choice. But
mhm,
as an adult, you can start to become responsible of your choices and your decisions. And she brings people through this meditation where you actually think about a situation you don't like in your life that keeps on coming up. And then she, as you said, you're grateful for it. You feel into where you actually, she would even say pleasure. Like, what
mm,
is the thing in your body that you're attached to that actually gives you a sense of maybe comfort, pleasure? And then through this exercise of instead of avoiding, because a lot of people I think get stuck in these patterns of they're stationary and they're not satisfied because they don't realize that they're actually attached to that situation,
mm,
those people, that same environment that they don't feel satisfied in anymore. So you almost have to go through like a death like process and
mhm,
to emphasize that it's a process
mhm,
because through a manifestation, you're like nature almost in fall and winter. You are actually reflecting and you're like the leaves on the trees, you're letting go of a part
yeah,
of you and then it's going to rest in winter. You like it is uncomfortable and destabilizing for a lot of people to be in the unknown. Say,
yeah,
like, I really do not like, you know, my life right now, and I want a complete change. Well, therefore, for you to go through complete change, you need to really let go of what makes you feel comfortable. And you were
mm,
mentioning before, Nico, is that what you can do and in a visualization process is imagine that you are like literally anchored to the earth so maybe
mm,
everything is in chaos or everything is up in the air, and you actually want that chaos. You actually want that period of all these things passing in your life. So you have the spaciousness for this new idea and vision of yourself to come into physical form, into manifestation. is that to honor the icky parts is
Yes.
really a part of how you can actually obtain these dreams. And I do not feel like there's enough people talking about the icky parts. Then they're just showing like, oh, I'm so successful. And that is like really the nuts and bolts into building your new dream is the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like it's because the many of us conditioned to focus on the things that not really are fulfilling, right? Because it's just like it's more important to tune into like, well, how do you want to feel like in that future? And the other thing that came up is that many of us are unhappy where we at, and therefore they begin to rush into things. It's like they try to hurry up to achieve that goal, right? And so it's not so and then the moment it's no longer about the process, then you're no longer enjoying your life. And it's like you're trying to be somewhere else. And then if you like driving and hurry up to be somewhere else, then you're most likely going to crash somewhere. And in a when it comes to life, if we rush into things and then it essentially unconsciously we're destroying the future that we want to achieve because there is no carrier frequency of that. It's like, it's one
Mm.
thing, like when you watch a movie, it's not about that, you don't want to like fast forward it and just to say, oh, I finished the movie, like, oh, achievement kind of thing. No, it's like you want to enjoy the movie. Like if you want a partnership, it's like you don't want to like tell somebody, oh, look how amazing partner it is. Like, no, you want to enjoy being with that person and enjoy being with yourself and enjoy every step of the way. And no, it's not easy because there's some icky stuff up because like I want to grow, I want to move forward, and there's this icky feeling comes up, and then many of us want to like push it or push away, and that is the shadow, right? And then, but if you look at it like, oh, okay, it's coming, but from that, it would be relevant to dissociate a little bit. So it's no longer like you in that experience, but you imagine yourself from a side of yourself experience those things. It's like, well, then you become an observer. And it's no longer the emotions no longer control you. You become an observer of what is happening. And then you decide, oh, okay, well, I'm a director of my own life. And what would I like something to happen next? What would I like that person who is me, perhaps in the mirror, what I would like to them experience instead? Right? And it's like that kind of attitude, like that curiosity, right? And when it comes to shadow, it's like there's no need to run away from this. It's like it's the foundation to it's a fertile ground, and if we learn to overcome our limitations, that becomes our greatest strength. And if you know that, and if you know that it's all about the process, then you said, you know what, I'm going to like live my life. It's like a marathon, but at the same time, I'm going to focus on enjoying every step of the way. And I feel like
Mhm.
that is like the best way to and do everything with love and being like unique expression of yourself. And I feel like that would be like at least that's how I would like to embrace into the new year and I would invite more people to like to just see bigger picture and then stop taking things so seriously, right? Let go of no longer a service and then invite more of the things that like you like really enjoy that really lights you up. Yeah, and
I,
there's
I
definitely beauty in that.
I love that. And what really came to mind to me that you've touched on and that we're touching on is repatterning or coming into new beliefs that
Mhm.
is self-driven or self-created. And when you were saying like about the gratitude, like
Mhm.
the gratitude of wherever you're at, and then also looking at your life from a bird's eye, like taking a moment, taking a breath, just being
Mhm.
with, to me, it was like have gratitude in the simplicity and be in love. Well, I think that the reason why I see a lot of people were very confused and we keep on rushing for new experiences and being so serious is because of a lot of historically where we've come from. I mean, that's the way that
Yeah.
we are raised is to be very product based. And this is coming even from the Protestant ethic of a lot
Right.
of our capitalist ways is also influenced from religion in the sense that if you create a lot of material things that would be worthy. Kitty cat.
Okay, guys, sorry about
That's
that.
okay.
Uh,
And just to bring that up into people's awareness is that
mm,
like it's also okay that you feel like your self-worth is very much in relation to what you produce. I think that at least what I'm trying to do with people in embodiment coaching is like really feel into like what makes you feel joyful, what
mhm,
turns on your heart and creating the space to really let go of these expectations that were never really consciously, like that person didn't consciously choose that expectation that they are comparing themselves to. And when you're in a society, in this social milieu, in this social soup, it's that's a very natural instinct is to want to be a part of the tribe. And
mhm,
when this whole tribe is all about like, what car, what house, what
mhm.
makes you look cool, then it can be challenging sometimes to feel really just good about what you want that might be different. And but there are a lot of people that are waking up to
Mhm.
these more inner truths of celebrating the heart over celebrating like material gain.
Exactly, right. So as you said, is that many since there's if a tribe, if majority say like oh, would like focus on the shiny things, and and there's also people who's like oh those shiny they like too shiny, and then say well it really comes back to why do you choose to get something, right? It's like do you like get a car or a piece of clothing? Is it because you saw somebody else wearing it? Or is it because to impress somebody else? Or you would do it because like, wow, it actually feels really good to interact with this. It's a device or clothing or a car or a house, right? Because it's okay to have nice things. And then but it just do it for your own sake kind of thing. It's like it's I I feel like it's the best way we can attract a different tribe that is in harmony with ourselves, well, is to create a congruency with yourself. And I like how you said that um, some teachers implement pleasure to make change. And with that, there's a um, there's a thing called oxytocin, and then it's like a happy hormone and things that brings you happiness and joy and pleasure. And if you tune into that and expand it, what it does, it increases neuroplasticity. And essentially, if a brain looks like a wire mesh, imagine that you heat it up so it becomes more malleable. So in other words, when we um, feel joy or deeply in love with somebody, then it's we change can be made really quickly, and through that we connect with ourselves, and we connect with whatever we enjoy interaction with, and we find a new truth about ourselves. And another way, what's important that I find really valuable is to have a little bit more being more aware of congruency in a body. In other words, listen to your intuition, what you feel, what you think, what you say is to be in alignment. And that would be
Mhm.
right. And that creates a like really powerful congruency with the self. And the more you congruent with yourself, then your ability to manifest increases, your ability to heal other people, it amplifies because everything is in that alignment, right?
It's in alignment. That's what I
Mhm.
was just thinking.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love that because like another thing you're saying in alignment, a lot of people have fragmentation. There are
Mhm.
some great teachers you can also listen to, like Teal Swan talks a lot about fragmentation in the psyche. So there's an aspect of yourself that does want something. Like let's say there's two characters in your being, because we
Mhm.
are multi-cosmic beings, I believe.
Mhm.
And so one character wants it something like completely opposite to the other, is to try to accept both parts of yourself,
Mhm.
and then you can come into an alignment. So, for
Yes.
instance, I'll say, for example, I've always been a very tantric, sensual being. But I'm a very loving being and I'm very sensitive. So I went through a journey where I was just like, oh, well, I should just be interested in all these sexual things. But that's actually not truly what I wanted. The congruency was I want sacred intimacy. And that's very exciting. And that's very playful with one person. So I, through the work, brought these two parts of myself. But before, they were kind of in an incongruency. And then I would feel very pulled and very
Mhm.
confused because it wasn't like they merged together into an understanding that it didn't have to be like, I'm a very sensual, sexual being.
Mhm.
And that means that that shadow ass like that's wrong. And like that's beautiful. That's life. And then also you can pair that with this grace and this love and this devotion. And so once I understood that, I also even didn't shame myself as much. I didn't see myself as like that sexuality was bad. I think that's a good example because I think that's
Yeah.
also another thing that a lot of people um, may resonate with. But
Yes, absolutely. It's like there's I would also agree that we are like multidimensional beings, and then every thought and emotion that come through us is either our ancestry or parallel realities or the entities that with whom we have soul contract with. And then and also we are being impacted by the people that around us. So and if you know that to be true, then like a great intention would be say like um, I want to be in contact with all the people and entities and all the beings who would help me to increase my health, my wealth, vitality, longevity, beauty, sexuality, and enjoyment of life. And then and then may and I would want uh, and main and let's okay. And it's important that what to be okay to manifest. It's okay to get remove that image from the head, put it in the heart, so that what would be manifest is not what you want from a physical head, but what is would be um, of like a biggest harmony to the being. You know what I mean? It's like it's the one thing to make this like wishes from the head, and then like having like certain like specific desires, and that creates attachments. Or you say, okay, you know what? I want this and this and this, but I okay, not having them, but I only want the things that in harmony with my being, they're eco-friendly, they're in harmony with people I care about, and it's in harmony with the planet that I'm on,
mm,
right? So it's no longer the ego involved, it's like the entire being that is involved. So that's just something I want to bring in for like the instant invitation for the to kind of
I love
see
that.
yourself from that perspective, like in this year that is coming in, and like and see everything is through a prism of love that you are.
Yeah. And one like addition to that is that I think that the reason why there's like such a narcissism that our culture has created, as in we're very individually focused, is because we don't think we are connected to
Mhm.
the earth and to the cosmos. And so when you say you have an intention and in your heart and you know your part, you're so powerful. You are
Mhm.
interwoven into the magic of the earth and the cosmos. Is that when you really believe that you are love and that other people love you and you can make a difference through your intention, that heals a lot for people. Because
Absolutely.
I think that when people, we only have a couple minutes, it's been
Yeah.
good, but I think that, yeah, another thing is that when people are clinging to their attachments, the reason why is because they don't feel like they're held. I know
Mm,
that for me and my trauma was that I was grasping on to things, even my sexuality, grasping on because I felt so unsafe,
mm,
because I had to rewire and feel like, no, the earth has me, and the earth, the cosmos has me. And then that tunement of frequency, then in the tribe, I met people that were like very caring and very loving and could support me. And then
mm,
that creates a ripple effect. And so that is these what you're saying, these agreements, these intentions, this like, what do you really want? And do you believe that you can actually have it? And that
mm.
goes through that
Oh,
shadow
yes.
process.
That's another something that came up. It's like it's the I call it the three levels of honesty, and it's pretty powerful when it comes to change. It's being honest with how things are, then being honesty with how you want things to be instead, and also honest to what degree you believe that the change is possible, right? And then at the end, so like, and then just be honest. Like, if you don't know what if it's possible, you don't know what you don't want, you don't want, you don't know what you want instead. But at least just feel into it. How would you prefer to feel instead?
Nico, I feel like this is so juicy and I love it. And maybe we will record again. Who knows? But this is the ending of a recording. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing this conversation because when
thank
you
you.
show yourself, when we share our medicine, we are also guiding people to share their own. So we all make a difference. And thanks for tuning in and
Absolutely.
much
Thank you
love.
so much. Much love. Good night. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.